Lately, life seems to move pretty fast. Sometimes it almost feels a little too fast, you know? All of this hustle and the daily grind often makes me want to step away and find a little more time for myself. So that's why I decided I want to explore a couple of brand new things that I haven't really tried yet. What kind of things, you might ask? Well, let me explain.
Isn't it wild how sometimes a hobby can totally sneak up on you and kind of flip your whole life around?
For me, that hobby was called photography. I've been documenting my travels for a couple of years now, and my camera kind of became my absolute favorite tool during that time. You see, photo and video was sort of my escape from a very repetitive lifestyle.
Now fast forward a couple of years and unfortunately it's no longer just a hobby.
I never planned it that way, but it kind of became my full-time job eventually.
Now I do this for a living now, and this made me realize that this left me kind of in a unique spot without an actual hobby. Now, engaging in something entirely different from your usual work basically acts as a reset button for your mind. It's a way to step back, recharge, and avoid exhaustion that comes from constantly being on. And that made me realize it's actually time to learn something new. So today I'm on a quest to discover what that could be. I also think there is something incredibly satisfying about being a beginner again, about that learning curve. It really reminds me when I first picked up my camera. There were so many buttons, so many new terms, and so many things that I didn't necessarily understand in the first place.
The typical satisfaction curve on any hobby looks like this. First, you start something new. Most of the time, you start off super excited. But soon you might encounter some kind of initial failure. Now, if you manage to overcome that, then wow, that creates so much joy. The longer you spend dedicating yourself, the better you become.
But maybe sometimes you kind of lose interest along the way.
Why? Because it simply doesn't feel like the beginning anymore. For me, it's about finding that spark again. Something that excites me as much as my camera once did.
Thinking about trying things that were maybe just on a short list, but I've never actually tried them before. So let's give it a go.
Okay, today I'm gonna try painting a picture. So let's see how that goes.
Finding new things, it's all about trial and error. Often you gotta jump right into the cold water to figure out if you actually like things or not. And let's be real, some activities might suit you better than others, and that is perfectly normal.
We need to fix this.
The best thing is that you don't have to settle for the very first activity. So try to team up with some friends or join a group. That makes it so much easier to try multiple things.
But let's get real for a second. I mean, not every hobby is gonna be your cup of tea. Like, even if I wanted to, I probably couldn't suddenly force myself to do something like really random, like starting to collect postcards or pottery or one of those things, you know? I guess it kind of has to like spark something in you.
Today I'm gonna attend a yoga class. So let's see how that goes. That was really interesting, much more difficult than I thought. Not sure if I'll do it anytime soon, but I'm really glad I tried another thing.
But how do you find something that resonates with you? Maybe there is something you always wanted to try and it was kind of on a short list, but you never had time to. Bottom line is, don't be afraid to experiment, because you might end up enjoying something that you didn't really have on the radar.
Okay, next on my short list was rock climbing. I always wanted to try this, but one minor issue is the fact that I'm actually scared of height.
Yeah, so just pull those straps. You want it tight, but not like super tight.
Wow.
But anyway, I just said screw it and went ahead to challenge myself anyway to do something totally out of my normal comfort zone.
Wow. That was cool. Hurts like crazy.
Good job. That's your first wall ever, right? So this is called lead climbing. He's going up, but there's no rope at the top. So he has to clip into the next carabiner. So if he falls, you actually will fall for quite a big section until the last area you clipped in. Rock climbing is already really scary, and this is like the next level kind of stuff. It's time to show that I've improved. This is my 6th time in a month going rock climbing. That was my New Year's resolution. And it's really satisfying at the beginning to see that I can do things I couldn't do on the first time.
You see, once we manage to let go, we typically go into autopilot and things are not as intimidating anymore, and we tend to forget our initial fear. And that feels really, really amazing. And you might actually be surprised on how fast you can become addicted to a brand new thing.
Wow. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I had such a fun time trying out all of these new things. If you like this video, you might also want to check out this playlist right here. And with that said, I'll catch you in one of the next ones.